Expired. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Lamborn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, the issue of hydraulic fracturing may be on the ballot in Colorado this November. Obviously, the agencies you oversee, and any other federal agencies for that matter, would have stepped in long before now to prohibit fracking if it threatened human health by contaminating groundwater. Does fracking, which has been done in nearly 1 million wells in this country over the last 65 years, and which is done thousands of feet underneath groundwater, contaminate groundwater in a properly drilled well?
Congressman, I may be one of the few Secretaries of the Interior that has actually fracked wells before. I do understand the science behind this. It absolutely can be done safely and responsibly and has been done safely and responsibly. I will also say that whether it's safe and responsible depends a lot on factors like wellbore integrity and whether you have a good cement job. If you do and you can prove that, then and the water goes where it's supposed to, it's not a problem. We have taken 1.3 million comments in on the BLM's proposed fracking regulations. We've worked with the state of Colorado, other states throughout the country to come up with what we believe is an appropriate upgrade to 30-year-old regulations, but I do believe it can be done safely and responsibly and has been in many cases.
Okay, well, thank you. So does fracking present any other health risk in and of itself in a properly drilled well as you just described?
The key is in a properly drilled well and making sure that companies are abiding by that and can demonstrate that. I believe it can be and is being done safely and responsibly by companies.
Okay, thank you. Now, switching subjects, prior to this hearing, I attempted to find BLM's 2013 oil and gas statistics. However, BLM has not yet made them publicly available. Now, the 2012 statistics show a continual decrease in the total number of acres leased, total number of leases in effect, and number of new leases issued. These numbers have been steadily decreasing since 2008. Can you tell us if the 2013 numbers will show another decrease in energy activity on federal lands, and when will they be released to the public?
I can give you a few facts right now and happy to follow up with some others. In fiscal 13, BLM processed 4,892 applications and approved 4,472 of them. In fiscal 12, we had 5,861 APDs processed and 4,256 approved, so we're actually increasing the number of approvals in 13. In fiscal 11, there were 5,200 APDs and 4,725 approved. I will say this, Congressman, that the number we're able to process is a function of the number of people we have. Part of our challenge there is budget and the ability to dedicate resources to that, and we would appreciate your support in this budget for having some fees to industry for onshore oil and gas inspections, which we're also doing out of this budget, taken off budget and funded by industry so we can put appropriate resources to the table in the BLM to address the demand.
Well, and thank you for that point. And also, I would like to point out, we have passed legislation here in the House in a bipartisan way, such as my bill, H.R. 1965, which dedicates some of the money that the Treasury receives from leasing and permitting to the hiring of more people to process these applications and permits faster. And I'm disappointed to hear, like what you have just said, that we have decreased in the number of leases and permits for 2013 as even compared to 2012, which wasn't that great of a year either. So I'm sorry to hear that going down still. And changing subjects, I'd like to ask you about the Helium Stewardship Act. Can you tell me what your departments are doing to implement that legislation which was passed in Congress recently?
I do know that, first, we appreciate very much the bipartisan cooperation, bicameral cooperation to get that done. We continue to produce helium. It's very, very critical, and over time, I believe our plan is to work toward getting out of the business of producing helium and creating support for private industry to do that. Mike, do you have any more information on that? If not, we could provide more for the record if that's helpful.
I would look for that. Thank you so much for being here, and Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you very much for yielding back.